Alright, y'all, welcome back to another podcast, man. We have young CEO in the building. Tell y'all a little bit about his story. We're going to talk about entrepreneurship. We're going to talk about just trying to be the best version of yourself. So, introduce yourself to the people, man.
Hey, how y'all doing today, man? It's young CEO. We in the building, man. Straight out of Houston, Texas, coming here to represent, talk business, talk about, like Lloyd said, bring the best version out of you,
Yes, sir.
The steps that we're going to take to be great in life,
So, before we get started, man, one thing my podcast is about just people understanding entrepreneurship. So what's your thoughts on entrepreneurship?
I mean, entrepreneurship is a big deal in today's society because, it's not meant for everybody, but it's one of those things where you just got to get out there and take a leap out on faith. Everything starts with self. Being confident within your own self to be able to pursue your dreams. So it is what it is. A lot of people overthink the things, but you gotta take that side of you and put yourself in a position to be your own boss.
So when we say position, because everybody don't understand what position. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you get in position though?
I mean, honestly, like one of the quotes I live by is like, you don't have to be great to start, but you gotta start to be great.
I like that.
It's one of those things where like, everything is not built overnight. Like one of my biggest sayings I say, like, Rome wasn't built overnight, neither was, this earth that we live on was built overnight. So I always feel like it's a balance with, when you're getting ready to start off, setting different goals and tasks to acquire, with excelling and climbing that ladder of entrepreneurship, because, it's not how you start the race. I feel like it's how you finish the race.
Come on.
So, maintaining a sense of consistency and persistence, I feel like it leads you on the way to a path of a successful entrepreneurship.
All right, so let's talk about balance, because I think people have a hard time balancing stuff. So people don't understand, like, man, I got a job, but man, I want to pursue this dream. Like, how do they balance it though?
I mean, honestly, with entrepreneurship, time management is one of the biggest things
that's good.
I had to face. It wasn't no such thing as a 9 to 5. It was, I was working like 7 to 7, honestly.
Come on.
And I mean, you actually, the work that you put in is honestly what you get out. So when it comes to like, work-life balance, for the people that have corporate jobs and want to, take that leap out on faith and go into being their own boss, I honestly feel like, that's one of those things where you just have to be able to, prioritize your time wisely. And that's a lot that does with balance, because like you could be at the job, pursuing your dreams, working for somebody else, or you could be there, pursuing your dreams to actually be your own boss. So I honestly think, because I mean, me personally starting off on my own, my journey, I started pursuing my dream at the job,
That's good.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, like, I had a strong workload, but at the same time, I would make time and I would work twice as hard to make sure that I would get my, corporate work done first, and then I would kind of like let my other work kind of follow along with it. Then when I got home, I would even work, overtime. Like, if you work overtime on a job, what's stopping you from working overtime for yourself?
Big facts. And I think the problem is that people don't understand the 9 to 5 and the 6 to 10 rule. So you go 9 to 5 to somebody else, but you do 6 to 10 for yourself.
Right.
And a lot of people are afraid. They're like, oh, man, I hear a lot of excuses though. So how do a person get rid of the excuses and be consistent at the same time?
I mean, honestly, I have a zero tolerance for excuses. Everybody want to be the man, but ain't willing to put in the work to be the man.
That's
so
true.
It's like excuses won't be tolerated, in the life of trying to be an entrepreneurship, because I feel like excuses are more like liabilities.
Man, come on.
They're not assets. So I feel like the more work you put in and setting goals for yourself, I feel like the farther along you'll go in this journey, because it's one of those things that it just doesn't start.
Come on.
And it's not overnight, So, a lot of people are scared because they see the end goal with other people, but they want the end goal immediately when a lot of people not seeing what it actually takes in the drive. Having a strong work ethic, you know.
Come on.
I could touch on that all day. You know, having a strong work ethic is very influential in your journey of being an entrepreneur. You know, so
that's important though, because what I think a lot of us have to figure out is, you know, work ethic, balance, trying to figure out. So I want to kind of piggyback off young CEO. Where they come from?
I mean, you know, I started my journey as a young CEO, honestly, you know, under the age of 30. And, you know, it's more of an inspirational thing to, you know, younger entrepreneurs that are scared to take that risk. So, you know, you got your people that go to high school, go to college, right?
Come on.
But then you got a lot of people, you know, fresh out of college, you know, they go think that, hey, you know, let me go get the best corporate job that's paying.
Come on.
And I feel like, you know, being a young CEO, you know, I went through the trials and tribulations of working several corporate jobs, and I just felt like, you know, this wasn't for me. So young CEO came from, you know, exceeding expectations ahead of my time. So, you know, they have a lot of, most CEOs I was used to seeing, you know, growing up was like, you know, older people from the generations that came before me. And I, you know, it's kind of more of an inspirational quote than a name, you know.
I got you.
That way, that can kind of give people that motivation that, hey, you don't have to wait till you're, you know, you're in your 30s or your 40s or 50s to be a young CEO. So it's one of those things where I put the young and the CEO come together as one. Because it doesn't matter what age, there's no age limit to start being your own boss.
So, what makes you a good leader, though? You know, since you became CEO, you became your own personal CEO, then you became an entrepreneur. What qualifies you as being a good leader?
Honestly, I feel like, you know, being a good leadership, you know, comes with a lot of roles of just being like a lot of responsibilities, honestly. Being able to kind of like be able to manage people, not just emotionally, you know, but also mentally as well.
Come on.
You know, being not only a good teacher, but also being a good a counselor as well.
Yeah, that's good. So,
you know, you have to be able to, when you're a leader, you typically are the person that's the answer to a lot of problems. So
the people need to hear that.
Yeah, so you know, it's a lot about, you know, being the one that seeks solutions, you know, the one that's always being very innovative, you know, looking for the next best thing to help improve whether they're employees or people that they're mentoring. Leadership goes a long ways, because it's like, you know, it shouldn't be taken lightly at all. Everybody can't do it, you know. I tell people, you know, to whom much is given, much is required.
Big fact.
So when you being a leader, you know, it's not just a title, you know, it's a lifestyle.
So are you a leader that like, this is what you should do? Or are you the leader that says, let me do it so I can show you exactly how I done it so you can do it? Because, you know, there's two types of leaders. Some leaders feel like, hey, I already done it, but I need to see you do it. Then you got those say, come with me and let's do it together. What kind of leader are you?
I mean, I've always been a team player.
Okay.
I've never been, because, you know, you got leaders that are dictators.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They tell people what to do.
And I honestly feel like when you a dictator, you know, you don't get the same response you would get as if you being that person of leadership that kind of stoops down to the employee level to actually work with them.
I got you.
You know, be that morale that's keeping all the pieces together with the team. So I kind of almost treat a leader like a basketball team. It's like a sport, you know. You got to be able to quarterback and, you know, level out with your players on the field.
That's true.
So it's not so much of a dictatorship. It's more just knowing how to deal with different personalities. Even when somebody's in the wrong, you have to still keep a certain level of composure so you can be able to work with these folks and make sure you lead them on the right path. Because I feel like you get a lot more better responses.
Yes, sir.
When, you know, you're working with them side by side and showing them, you know, how to get it out the mud. So, I mean, being a good leader, you know, like I said, again, it's one of those things where, like, you just have to be able to lead by example and take initiative.
All right, so what are those decisions? I like to talk about this. What are the main decisions that influence you as an entrepreneur?
I mean, honestly, you know, decisions that influenced me as an entrepreneur is just, I wanted to be my own boss, honestly. One of the biggest things that I see on, corporate jobs is that you have limitations.
Ooh,
and
that's good.
You only have so much room for growth until you hit like a ceiling.
Gotcha.
So when you working for yourself as being a great entrepreneur, I feel like there's no limitations. The sky is the limit. So there's no set dollar amount that you can make to break these generational curses.
So do you have you recognized the generational curses of your family?
Most definitely.
Because some people they say, well, I don't really know what they are, but have you seen them in your family and recognized them?
Oh, most definitely. It's funny because I was just talking to my mom yesterday and she was asking me like, what does it mean by generational curse? And when I applied to entrepreneurship,
come on,
we don't have a lot of people that own our own businesses in our family.
Wow,
so
that's good.
For me to be like one of the first millionaires in my family, I think that was my biggest drive to be able to strive for greatness. Because I feel like you should never feel like you should just have to meet the expectation. As an entrepreneur, you should exceed to the expectation.
That's good. So let's talk a little bit about the affirmations talk. Do you believe in affirmations?
Most definitely.
You know what I'm saying? Do you have any like written down or something you look at like?
Yeah, so it's funny because I was gonna actually mention that like I feel like you should definitely challenge yourself mentally to test your weaknesses to be great. So a part of that with affirmations is just like you say, having daily affirmations on.
Yes.
Just setting goals up for yourself. I feel like if you don't have this stuff written down, it's like you gotta write the vision.
Make it plain.
Exactly. So, you gotta definitely make sure that you write these things out because I find myself when I was just trying to just think about it and hold all of this in my brain, it's like, at some point you have to be structured and organized.
That's good.
So a part of daily affirmations, I think is a very good thing and a unique thing to have to be able to write down your goals, your daily affirmations, so you can give yourself a goal, a target goal, so that you can be able to identify
something
and
you can attack.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what are your 3 favorite purchases of 2021? I like to talk about this because everybody have different things they purchase. It's interesting as entrepreneurs. So some people might want to, pick your brain. So what are your 3 purchases that your favorite purchases you did 2021?
So for 2021, I'm not even gonna lie, that was definitely a life-changing year for me. So I'll definitely start off with purchasing my first home.
Love it.
It's nothing like having your own home.
Yes,
I tell people all the time, it's like you can either rent from somebody or you can actually own your own home. And it's almost in comparison to like being an entrepreneur. You can either go work for the man or you can own your own business. So
yes, sir.
I'll definitely say my house would be number 1.
All right.
I would definitely say, because I'm big on cars, I would definitely say, buying my first foreign car was a big deal for me.
Okay.
A lot of people can't say they can afford 6-figure cars, so it's like, I feel like you work hard, play hard. So I have the saying, reap the fruits of your harvest. So that's definitely was one of my biggest stepping stools in my journey of being an entrepreneur, is just being able to go out and pay for a 6-figure car, with cash money. So that was definitely a big one. I would say my third purchase, honestly, I gotta kind of go back to real estate.
Okay.
Because I feel like even once you become an entrepreneur, you should never stop investing in yourself. So honestly,
that's good.
Honestly, like just purchasing a more plethora of real estate, to be able to better my dreams for my next business plan.
So tell us a time-saving tip. Like give us something like something that you use in your entrepreneurship that saves you time.
I would definitely say, I got the saying, kill 2 birds in 1 stone.
I like that.
So it's like, if you can be able to match the energy and be able to do something that's gonna help, it's gonna help drive you along the way on your journey, I would say like just trying to like mix and mingle with different business opportunities. I would say one of the key ones would be just networking is a big.
Okay, that's huge.
That's definitely a big time saver, at least for me, because every time I leave the house, you know, I look at it like from the perspective like everybody's a customer. So as long as I'm networking and doing something that I enjoy doing for pleasure, at the same time while maintaining a consistent level of business,
yes, sir.
I feel like, you know, it's a big time saver versus just taking out, you know, several days out the week to just go strictly about business. You know, I can be able to still, you know, live my everyday life as a business.
I like that.
So, you know, a lot of people don't realize that you gotta eat, sleep, and breathe. You know, entrepreneurship when you decide to take that leap out on faith.
Man, so name me some of your influences that you look at online.
I mean, honestly, I look at a few people. You know, I've never been like just this big celebrity.
Yeah, me either.
You know, bandwagon type of guy. You know, I kind of look at influencers like people that's like that I'm surrounded around.
I got you.
I would definitely say like as far as influences. I mean, I know this sounds crazy, but you know, Migos is one of my biggest influences.
Okay.
You know, they young CEOs in their own perspective lanes. You know, they musicians by trade. You know, they doing their thing. You know, I'm real big on, you know, music, and I think it has a lot to do with your lifestyle and, you know, your goals and aspirations on, you know, what you seek in life. You know, So,
share with us one of your biggest fears.
I mean, just like anybody else, I would say one of my biggest fears is, you know, letting myself down, you know, and being afraid to take certain risks to get where I want. And
I think people need to hear that though, because a lot of people think, oh, this person got money, they ain't got no fears. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people think that. But just because you have money, to me, I'm always thinking about another move I can make. But some people, they're like, oh, when I get money, all my problems are solved. That ain't true, though.
Nah, most definitely. Like, I feel like you can never make too much money, you know? I'm like I said, my biggest fear is definitely, you know, being afraid to fail in life because, you know, it's nothing wrong with failing. But at the same time, when you have that personality that just wants to win,
come on,
you know, you want to keep up that level of consistency. But I would tell people all the time, like with entrepreneurship, you know, you're gonna fail. You know, most businesses don't even make it, you know, to a 7 or 8 or 9 figure level. Like, you know, I always tell people, man, like I had to fall down 7 times just to get back up 8. So I tell people, like, you can't be that person that breaks underneath pressure. Like, you gotta be able to push when pressure is being applied.
Cause that pressure is being applied on a daily basis. Do you consider yourself an expert at something?
I wouldn't say. I feel like there's always room for growth.
Okay, I like that.
So I'm not gonna say. I'm never gonna be the person that say I'm the greatest at everything. Because, you know, I'm very guilty by faith and humbleness.
I like that.
So I'm always, you know, trying to figure out how I can be better at something else, because at the end of the day, I feel like, you know, there's only one man in my life that's perfect, and that's the man above. So, you know, you know, you can strive for perfection, but I don't feel like I would ever be like just an expert at anything to the level of, you know, what God has done for me, you know?
And see, I think that's what gets us to another level, the level of humbleness. So many people get to a certain level, I can't be stopped. I'm like, yeah. But one thing I can tell you, your health can go bad tomorrow. And then everything you've been working for, now you looking crazy. So that's why I try to tell people, it don't matter if you're making $1 or $1 million, stay humble, because at the end of the day, God is always on the throne though. So what's coming up next in your life that's exciting to you?
I would definitely say, you know, I'm working on a few different real estate projects, you know, internationally and domestically.
Okay.
So, like being from Houston, you know, I'm definitely excited. Got my first Houston Airbnb about to be on the market. Summer 22 in effect. You
Come on, let's get it.
Yeah, it's about to be a party. So,
Instead of renting out, remember we had to rent that instead of having now we can just go chill.
Oh yeah.
Remember last time y'all rented that
Airbnb for the conference.
Yeah, for the conference. So now you got your own, you ain't gotta worry about it.
Yes, sir. So, just being able to have your own, place of peace where you can do business and also make money at the same time. So
what's the revenue look on that, you think? I mean, you did the projections. What do you think the revenue would be on that if you started Airbnb in it? Just say the end of the summer, and 1 year later, what do you think the revenue would be on something like that?
I think if I start this summer, just based off of the numbers that I ran,
the projections.
I say if I keep it rented at least, 15 days out the month for 12 months, we looking at like a 6-figure project a year.
I like that. So on the Airbnb in Houston, what's the market looking like per night? Is it like 150, 250, 400, depends, weekends?
It just depends on the caliber of what you're staying in.
Okay, I got you.
And if you're anything like me, I like to find the things in life.
Yeah.
You might have stuff that's going for like basic prices as low as, $70 to like $100.
I got you.
That might just be something very basic and content. Then you might have like, the more upscale things that typically can range anywhere from like $400 to $600 a night,
I got you. So because a lot of people always ask the question like, okay, Airbnbs, I don't know, I'm scared. Can I really rent it out? They always look at the negative side instead of saying, you know what, I'm gonna make this happen. So you saying just 15 days out the month over a 12-month period, it can be 6 figures. Man, that's so crazy though.
Yeah.
So what's one of the craziest things that's happened to you as an entrepreneur?
As an entrepreneur, it depends on what level of crazy we talking about, like a good way or a bad way.
Well, give me one good way, one bad way.
Well, I would say like in a good. I'm gonna start with the positives.
Okay.
I like to always keep things on a positive note.
Yeah.
I'll definitely say one of the greatest things that happened to me is that during the pandemic, we had a pandemic 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I just knew that my business might have not thrived in the same way because people wasn't working, people were losing jobs, you had a lot of unemployment going on, so people were struggling,
Yeah.
And it's funny because me and Guy had a conversation.
Come on.
He told me, man, it's time for you to stop being a follower and be a leader now.
Come on, lead the way.
It's one of those things where he said, man, he's gonna exceed the expectation of blessings when I least expect.
Ooh, speak on it.
I just felt like, man, what's gonna happen now that all these businesses are shut down?
That doubt creeped in.
Oh yeah, it was a lot of doubt because it was like, I'm not able to market myself to my fullest potential. But little did I know, my business actually rose in 3 months of being on a lockdown more than it has in this whole first quarter of 2022.
Let me tell you something. When God said He's gonna give you good measure, pressed down and shaking together and run it over, and men will get to your bosom, man. I'm telling you, God is amazing. You know what I'm saying? As long as you keep Him on the throne, then you good. All right. So name me something bad happened as an entrepreneur. Like man, I can't believe that happened.
As an entrepreneur,
I know dealing with customers is one of them.
Yeah, I would definitely say. Yeah, I would say that's probably definitely one of the biggest.
Yes, dealing with people.
Yeah, dealing. That's probably one of the biggest. I wouldn't say it's a liability, but it's definitely a certain level of stress that most people are not willing to deal with. So just being able to deal with not only customers but also deal with certain caliber of employees as well. Because
that's true.
Everybody doesn't think the same or act the same way. And when you're dealing with and you talked about this earlier about being a good leader, everybody doesn't handle certain situations the same way.
That's true.
So you have to be, compassionate, understanding, and have a balance,
I like that.
You can't be a pushover, but you also can't be too much of a dictator because then you might scare, somebody away.
Yeah, because some people don't like that kind of leadership where you're like, you better go get it. They're like, hey, wait, calm down. So, all right, so if you were stripped down to zero right now, All right, entrepreneur minded, everything you've been through. You know what I'm saying? How would you start the same way you started, or what kind of adjustments would you make?
I mean, honestly, you know how they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
So you going in the same way?
I would definitely go in the same way to a certain degree.
Okay. But you learned some things along the way, though.
Most definitely.
What not to do and what, you know.
Exactly. Like, you know, I was always taught to work smarter, not harder.
There you go.
So, you know, if I can exercise my brain on a level that can, you know, reach other people, you know, and be a stronger voice for my audience, I feel like, you know, I would have definitely did a few things different, but
that's facts.
I tell people all the time, like, you know, success doesn't come easy.
Nah.
So, you know, at the end of the day, you still gonna have to put in a certain amount of hours of work to get a end result that you're looking for. So I definitely would go in probably the same way, honestly, because I feel like I knew when I first started my first business that I knew it wouldn't be easy. And I knew it was gonna take a lot of long hours to get it cranked up, but at the end of the day, I looked at it like, you know, it's all for a greater good, and that,
yes, sir.
You know, it made me feel more accomplished every day I put in the work. And, you know, and set different goals for myself, because like every month it wasn't like, hey, I'm gonna just, you know, wake up and just work a couple of hours and expect, you know, something to happen. Like I had, like I said, you had to set different daily affirmations to be able to achieve some of these goals that I wanted to reach.
And believe, though, I think that's another problem. People, they don't. Everything takes belief.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Some people just feel like, oh, if I just pray to God, He's gonna bless me. I'm like, I don't think so. You know what I'm saying? You can't just, the Bible say faith without works is dead. So that means the Bible tells you better go to work, better go do something. But so many people are so afraid. They're like, man, that's self-belief and self-doubt. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about, let's pivot a little bit. It says, share 3 of your top goals that you hit, but once you got there, you was like, oh, it wasn't that bad.
Ooh, so I would say like, and I'm gonna relate this back to, you know, present day. So I guess like my first goal, you know, it's funny, man. Like I know when I first started, you know, my first company, you know, my goal was just to have passive income.
Yes.
And it's funny because I was just like, yeah, you know, I just want to reach 100 customers, because 100.
Come on.
I just felt like, you know, 100 people supporting me, you know.
Yeah, you Gucci.
Yeah, it felt like it was one of those things where I feel like, you know, I'll be set and good to go. But little did I know, it was like, man, 100 customers, you know.
That's like
it wasn't as hard as I thought it would be.
Yeah, that was that first goal. See, I need people to hear this, because people, they set goals, and then when they get there and then you reach that goal, you're like, well, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, most definitely. So I'll say that would probably be my first one. One of my second goals that I actually acquired was, you know, just getting into the real estate market. You know, not just only acquiring, you know, 1, 2, 3 properties, you know, just being able to acquire one, you know, was one of my biggest deals. My first investment property. So I thought it was gonna be a lot harder until I started, you know, to get, you know, financial education on, you know, how to buy homes, you know, how to apply pressure with getting real estate.
Come on.
And, you know, how to leverage money, your own liquid, also with the bank as well. So, you know, it's a lot to learn about, you know, the real estate game. A lot of people, you know, have bad credit, you know. They don't have enough money for a down payment. And they have programs for people, you know, that's not as fortunate to be able to support themselves, to be able to buy their own real estate. And I tell people all the time, like, you don't have to always do everything on your own. Like, I always tell people 2 minds is better than 1.
That's good.
So sometimes, you know, when you reach out and network with other people, because like even my first real estate investment company, I actually came together with somebody to be able to, you know, purchase my first set of duplexes.
That's good.
So, you know, sometimes, you know, even if you think you got it under control, you know, it always helps to have a partner, because you know, you kind of stretch out the risk, you know, and the liabilities that may come with the business.
And I think people need to understand, like, because I hear so many people are solo entrepreneurs, and they tend to forget that, listen, man, sometimes you can go in business with somebody that knows a little bit more than you, and that can help you. Because if you don't learn how to delegate, you can't get to $1 billion, I promise you. You better learn how to delegate because you need a team of people to help you.
Most definitely.
You know what I'm saying? So, if you was to die today, tell me what sentence would you want the world to remember about you?
Man, you know, I would just tell people like, you know, keep God first. You know, at the end of the day, you know, I don't plan on dying.
No, not that. I'm saying like, what would you want people to remember about you?
I would just say I would love people to just remember just the, you know, the hard work that I put in to be able to, like, you know, lay out the blueprint for people to be able to fall in line with.
There you
know,
go.
Just more or less just having good energy, being motivational, and you know, I mean, you know, it's one of them things where I just want people to remember me as being, you know, a young CEO, as being a hustler that changed the game for the generation that I grew up in, you know.
So, Young CEO, is that starting to become a major brand for you? You trying to build it out as a major brand?
Most definitely. Like, I've even gone into, like, you know, wanting to go into merchandising, so I can, you know, have like a little clothing line that can help motivate, not just to wear as a name, but to actually wear it with meaning. To let people know, like, hey, you know, and Versace did it, Dior did it, you know.
No difference.
I feel like Young CEO is something real catchy that a lot of people, you know, look at as a form of entrepreneurship. Because, you know, you can't have a CEO without an entrepreneur.
That's big facts, though. So, describe to us your perfect day. Like, what's a perfect day to you?
I would say a perfect day, and it just all depends on how you want to come at it.
Yeah.
Like my everyday routine, I would say, like, in this day and time, a perfect day, you know, 3-4 years ago for me would have been different than a perfect day now.
Okay.
So I would say, like, you know, a perfect day for me was, you know, my phone ringing every day, you know, customers calling. You know, anytime I seen my phone ringing with a new number, you know, I knew the money was calling. So I feel like that was a sign of, you know, progression.
I love it.
You know, and these days, I feel like, you know, a perfect day is just me being able to relax. Because, I mean, you know, once you dive into that world of entrepreneurship,
yeah, it's stressful.
Yeah, it can definitely get overwhelming. Because, you know, you on 24-hour call, honestly. You know, it's not like you go on a 9 to 5 and you clock in at 9 and then you're off at 5. You know, for me personally, you know, I'm always having to oversee things. It's an adjustment, it's a lifestyle. So, you know, when you're dealing with being your own boss, you know, there's no such thing as, all right, I'm off, you know, I'm off at 5, you know, I'm done for the day, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we entrepreneurs are definitely the definition of, you know, not only being the boss, but also, you know, you the one that has to, you the overtime.
Oh yeah.
You the weekend.
Come on.
Man, you the on call, you know. Man, I'm trying to tell you.
People don't stop. So what is that thing right now that gives you that fire? What is, like, right now you like, okay, I'm on this level, but I need to get to this level. What is that thing that's giving you that fire to, like, I'm ready to go to another level?
I mean, just starting off with, you know, just seeing people around me doing great, you know.
I like that.
One thing about me is, like, you know, entrepreneur is like a sport, man. You know, either you gonna train to be great, or you gonna get trained to be left in the blocks.
Ooh,
so
come on.
I think the biggest influential will be even people like yourself. You know, just seeing, like, where you came from, and just seeing progression and elevation.
Oh yeah.
You know, because I thrive off of good energy. I thrive off of progression. You know, even when I first met you, you know, I was like, you know, this man has a lot of potential. And I was like, you know, looking back, I'm looking at the numbers like, man, you know, he really made it happen, you know? So I'm real big on, you know, people that's about making it happen and not making excuses. And like you say, why not is your time?
Yeah, so I tell people excuses are reasons for being useless. If you want to continue to be useless, keep giving the world the same damn excuses. And the problem is, people are so afraid to be great, but they so comfortable at being at somebody else's leisure, somebody else's time. That comfortability, it stops them from being great. And until you get past that, you can't be great. So, What is it that you appreciate about life right now?
Honestly, I definitely appreciate, first and foremost, the fact that I don't have to wake up every morning and go to somebody's building, Just being able to work within, the walls of my own comfort.
Come on.
I feel like, it keeps me motivated because, every day when I wake up, I wake up to blessings. And just being in a nice house reminds me of how much more work I need to do just off of the strength that I always feel like there's always room for improvement.
Speak on it.
So, if I feel like I'm not at the top, even though I might be at the top within, my peers, they have so many more people out there in society that are thriving. And every time I see something new, it's like it's almost like going to the mall, you see a new fit, you gotta have it, right?
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of like one of those things that until my work is done and I feel like I've maxed out to my fullest potential, I feel like, every day something new is gonna bring the best out of me as far as being motivated. So, I think a lot of it has got to do with influence, because like you said, people want to be great, but everybody's afraid of being great. But I feel like a lot of people are not disciplined.
That's key.
Or focused.
Come on.
On a level that's gonna keep them in that mindset. Because a lot of people might, just because you're jogging in place doesn't mean that you're going anywhere.
You might be on the treadmill.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So the first impression, somebody first meets you, what is it that you want them to, that energy you want them to feel from you?
I would say I want them to be able to take me serious as a person, as a man of business. Like somebody that's not gonna let them down.
Gotcha.
Somebody that's gonna steer them in the right direction to be able to get to the next level in life.
That's good.
So I would want them to think of me as like being a great business partner or even a great mentor that can help them, exceed their expectations or goals that they might have set for themselves. And
I like to call this toot your own horn. What is that thing you proud of right now the most? Like, what are you seriously like? You toot your own horn. The problem is you was being so humble earlier, but there's sometimes we gotta pat ourselves on the back.
Oh yeah, most
So what is that thing you like, man? I did that.
I would say like one of the biggest things that I would toot my own horn is I feel like I got the gift of gab. I feel like I can almost, persuade or convince somebody to do almost anything, if I just put my mind to it. So
come on.
I say that in relation to business because even to this day, I can remember going into a beauty shop one day and I was going in there, to sell my product and the fact that, I went in there, I really wasn't even supposed to be going in there because I was at a barbershop next door.
Come on.
Trying to, sell my product and, I got some decent feedback, but I didn't get the feedback that I wanted.
Come on.
So that was a part of me having to take the 7 no's to get 8 yeses.
Ooh.
So when I went next door, little did I even know, I literally sit up there and gave like a 30-minute presentation.
Come on.
And I guarantee you, every single person in that beauty shop bought my product that day.
And I think that's good though. I think that people need to hear just because you get no's, don't mean no yeses around the corner. When me and my boy Steve was selling prepaid legal, our goal was every day to get 100 no's. And if you didn't get 100 no's, you couldn't come back home. So when you go to the mall, you gotta go hand out flyers with prepaid legal, and before you know it, it's like, okay, we got 100 no's, are we good? But guess what? With all those no's, there came some yeses.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? So I tell people, so what is that thing you struggling with as an entrepreneur?
As an entrepreneur, I would say definitely, and we touched on it earlier, I would just say definitely trying to manage time. Because I find myself lately as I put more things on my plate, I tell people man, there's not enough hours in a day, And I tell people even with, trying to be successful, man, timing is everything.
Man.
So I feel like definitely just, working on more or less time management, definitely working on trying to be more on time for myself. Because I tell people, man, it's better to be 5 minutes early than to be on time. So, and I think, I try to live by that quote heavy because, being on time is cool. But when you 5 minutes early, I look at it as you trying to exceed the expectation.
Ooh, that's key.
So if you take that same mentality into your own business, then I feel like you will win every time, because every target goal that you have met for yourself or prepared to try to reach, you'll exceed it every time, because you're gonna be working 10 times as hard to get there before it's time for you to actually be successful.
All right, so listen. If you had an extra hour in a day, what would you do with it? So time stop, and you get 1 hour, just an extra every day.
Honestly, I would just sit back and reflect, because I think a lot of people don't get that time because they're so busy and on the go.
It's life.
I think, reflection is a big deal in becoming a successful entrepreneur.
That's true, though.
You'll be able to learn from the mistakes and reflect on different things that you can do better every day, because a lot of people are so used to routine.
Yes, that's true.
And they would definitely try to do the same thing for as long as they can before, something else has to change. So I feel like definitely having an hour of reflection each day, where it's like no clients calling me, I'm not dealing with anything dealing with the business, just reflecting on self and how I can be, a greater entrepreneur, to be able to not have to work as hard.
So we're gonna pivot. So what? If you had to look at the bigger picture, what are 3 things you could have done differently, just differently as an entrepreneur? I know we learn from our mistakes, but sometimes we look back and say, if I would just done this different.
I would say just starting back, if I had to change things differently, as far as you mean like before my entrepreneurship?
Yeah, I'm just like now you're on this entrepreneur journey. You're looking at it, you like, well, man, if I would have did this, I could have been right here faster. What is that? Because we all reflect on some of the stuff that we've done.
I would definitely say one of the biggest things that I would have did different, I feel like at some point in my career, I definitely became slightly complacent.
That's good to hear.
And, people get comfortable, man. When you're making money, I tell people all the time, like, even to this day, like, never become complacent, because you are only hindering and stunning your growth. So, just having the attitude of like being consistent, I mean, you can get to one place, but it only takes one day for you to start, losing a clientele base if you're not keeping up the same energy that you had when you first started. So just because you had the energy, when you started, doesn't mean that just goes away. You have to maintain a certain level of consistency in your business. So I would definitely say, complacency is one of the things that I would definitely, want to change. Definitely, maintaining the same energy and customer service that I had when you first started off. Because, everybody want to be great when you first start off. But
of course.
You have to still maintain a certain level of greatness. Because that's just like if you go to a barber shop, you expect, if you're going to a barber for the first time,
come on,
they gonna give you their best cut because they want to secure you as a customer.
That's true. That's true.
So, one thing I tell people, like, you don't want every time you go to the barber shop, or even for you ladies to the beauty shop, you want your barber or beautician to, keep that same consistency on your head.
Yeah.
Cause I feel like every day I get a new cut, I gotta feel like a new man.
I agree.
If it's not right, then I'm feeling like he's not doing or she's not doing their job to their fullest potential. So consistency is everything.
So give us 3. No, I'm not gonna ask that one. Bucket list. What's on your bucket list right now?
All right. Well, we can definitely talk about that.
Yeah, what's on your bucket list? Everybody got a bucket list.
Okay. Well, as far as business or personal?
Give me 2 personal, 2 business.
2 personal.
I know one in that gym though. I see you in that gym every day. That's a personal one.
I definitely would say, being in the gym, health is wealth.
Yeah, health is wealth. Because if your health fail, you can have $1 billion. It don't mean nothing no more. So look at Steve Jobs. His once his health failed, that was it.
Yeah, so I would definitely say, continuing to expand and make sure that, I'm keeping a certain level of consistency in the gym.
Gotcha.
Just want to be athletically fit overall. I was always a skinny boy by trade, so, just being able to put on weight, put on muscle in a good way. Being able to do cardio,
Oh yeah, I hate cardio, but you gotta do it.
Yeah, you gotta do it. And and I tell people, like, there's so many different forms of cardio that you can do.
Oh yeah.
You don't have to just walk on a treadmill or run on a track. You can go play basketball.
Oh yeah.
You can pick up a sport, like boxing. There's so many different things you can do for cardio. I tell people, if one thing doesn't work for you, try another. So, yeah, definitely, like I said, keeping up with my health and fitness is definitely one of my bucket list goals. Just to remain consistent. I would say my second one would be, as far as bucket list, man. It's hard to say, man.
Because you achieving a lot. I know, but
I'm doing a lot. Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie. You gotta be stuck right there.
So
I do so. I tell.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you like I told my dad, man, the other day. I said, man, I done more in this first quarter this year than most probably do in a lifetime.
Shoo, come on.
So I'm one of those like fast track pace people. So I'm not saying that I don't have other bucket list items as far as on a personal level, but it doesn't take much to please me, honestly, man.
I say success loves speed. The reason why I say success loves speed is because once you get a certain success, everything else start to pick up momentum.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's when you got $5 in your pocket and 1 cent worth of knowledge, you really can't move that much.
Yeah.
But when you got 500,000 in your pocket and $1 million worth of knowledge, now stuff will start moving on another level though. So what are the 4 things that people might not know about you? 4 things that they might not know about you.
Man, that's a good question. Because I'm almost like an open book for the most part.
Look, they might not know you got kids.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you had an older daughter until I seen her.
Yeah, so, man, a lot of people, man, believe it or not, they be like, man, how do you do so much?
Yeah.
And little do they know, I got kids, man. It's not an easy task, man, being a parent, then also trying to maintain a business. Like, I wear a couple different hats, So, it's definitely one of those things where I feel like, you gotta be at home for your family, but at the same time, you gotta handle business, because business is what's gonna make sure that your family is taken care of.
Make sure they eat.
Yeah, gotta eat.
You gonna make sure they eat. One thing I need you to drop a poem for us, man.
Come on.
Cause you dropped a poem, and I just want the world to know about a little bit about your poetry.
Yeah, man. So that's another thing that I do by trade, man. I'm a poet by trade, man. Like, definitely want the world to be able to reach out, on a certain level.
What the one you about to tell us? What's the title of this one?
Man, it's funny because we actually talking about it today.
Okay.
And it's actually one of my latest pieces. It's called Life of an Entrepreneur.
All right, here we go.
So
get your phone out, or you got it? Okay, get your phone out. But yeah, when you sent it to me, I was like, ooh, this is nice.
Oh
it's
yeah,
nice.
So I'm gonna talk to the world real quick. So
all right, so drop us some of this new poetry right here. Let's get it, new poetry. Here we go, y'all. Take a listen. Take notes.
All right. So I call this poem "Life of an Entrepreneur." So I wake up to exercise the brain to ask the question, what's on your mind? The royalties of a paradise, waking up to a young CEO in the mirror is the answer to the question that you will find. You don't have to be great to start, but you gotta elevate your conscience to be great. Be the individual that swallows their pride to take a humble stand to be guilty by faith. To whom much is given, much is required. Lead by example, no 9 to 5, put the work in. Chris Brown never to grow tired. Challenge mentally to test your weaknesses when pressure is applied. Never be the closed mouths that didn't get fed due to the lack of support in this game. Only a few survive. Make your next move on this yellow brick road. Wizard of Oz, your best move. Be your own boss that call the shots and take the risk with the confidence to never lose. Hustler's ambition is a characteristic that most take for granted when you live like a life like a boss. Always stay hungry and never become complacent unless you willing to man up and pay the cost. Mansions and foreign cars is the fruits of my labor of enticing pleasure. Call me Eddie Murphy, I stay in the lab, I run this nutty professor. Work hard, play hard is my motivation purpose to get into this bag. From the snow patrol Porsche to the exotic orange Lambo, I got 99 problems, but I ain't the one to brag. Because my work ethic is like no other that most risk the chance of a slip and fall. When obstacles are thrown at me, I'm like Kobe, just pass me the ball. Michael Johnson like the 1996 Olympics, I keep a pair of gold spikes. Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, a punch with some power, I never back away from a fight. I'm something like Tiger Woods because I stay with one in the hole. Never gotta count my money backwards because I stay with a cash flow in my bankroll. Motivational speaking like I'm Dr. Martin Luther King. Never scared of changes of what the possibilities of the future may bring. I quarterback this field like I'm in my rookie contract like Tom Brady. Buying up real estate and like it's an exploration in the third world countries like I'm living next to Haiti. I play this lifestyle we call like an entrepreneurship like a pro in the game. To achieve the highest recognition, to be honored in the Entrepreneurs of Hall of Fame.
Come on.
I ain't never gonna be the one to complain because hard work is not a task that is supposed to come easy. Counting down my days till my network is an 8-figure residual. Shout out to my boy Yeezy. For I'm the flesh driven by a functional brain. But pouring out my resources and knowledge through my voice to be heard while maintaining capital gains. Blessings on blessings, I thank the man above that brings out the best version of me to continue in my zone. Now rest in peace to the legends that paved the way to me to grow, to be continued and stay strong. And I call it life of an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Man, that's dropping bars right there, man. So how many points you think you done wrote?
I would definitely say, I've been writing probably since the age of 21, like officially, but unofficially I'd say since I was about 11 or 12 years old.
So would you say you got over 100?
Most definitely. I would say I would have at least like a solid 100 poems.
Man, that need to be packaged up and put into a book.
Yes, sir.
That need to be packaged up, man.
Hey, you motivation, man. You're walking motivation.
Hey, man, that need to be packaged up. So before we get out of here, I got 2 crucial questions. First question is this: What are three things that you want to leave in a time capsule, and somebody can open it up 100 years from now? What you want to leave in there for them to remember you by?
I would definitely, man, it's so funny because, man, I never think about leaving this earth, but man, I know we gotta go.
We gotta go.
Man.
I hate thinking about it.
Yeah, man.
But we gotta check out.
Yeah, man. It's crazy, man. Like, check.
We on this side of heaven, but it got the other side of heaven too.
If only I knew what the next life had to offer, man.
Yes, all of us won't be scared, but if you had to put something in a time capsule, and there's 3 things you want to leave in there, and 100 years from now you want somebody, they dig it out. What are those 3 things you want in there for them to remember you by?
I would definitely leave. That's
Only 3?
3 things?
Only 3. Come on, give me one. Something.
Man, one thing that I would leave.
I want 3 though, but just tell me, just give me what you think you're gonna leave in that time capsule. So let me give you an example of me. First thing I'm gonna leave is a tape of all my videos I posted on YouTube.
Okay.
So they can say, oh, this dude was about something. Second thing is I'm gonna leave this book in there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And third thing is I'm gonna leave a couple pictures of me.
Yeah.
From like 10, 20, 40, and whenever I died.
Yeah, I would definitely say, now that you say it in that perspective.
Yeah, in that perspective, like what would you want to leave? Because you want somebody to open it up and be like, oh, that's him.
Yeah. Well, I would definitely leave, I would leave my my literature with,
I like that.
With that way they can actually see what kind of mind I had. Because I tell people, man, a terrible mind, it's a thing. The mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Big fact.
So I would definitely want to leave some of my literature and poems, for people to be able to relate and feel like, they don't have to give up so easily, when it comes to pursuing their dreams. Secondly, I would definitely, want to leave. Man, that's a tough question.
But it's a good one.
Yeah, it's definitely a good one.
It's a good one. So they read your literature. Okay, this is what he's about, his mindset. Okay.
Yeah, I would definitely say literature would be one of my biggest ones.
Mm-hmm.
If I could put it in a time capsule, I would definitely leave. I was stuck on that.
Maybe you leave some of your vacation trips, pictures.
Yeah, I would definitely do that.
Maybe that's something you can leave. Like, man, this guy traveled the world.
Yeah.
That's good to know. And then maybe leave a picture of you and your family.
Yeah. I would definitely some on the lines of that. Definitely leaving an album to show the transformation from struggle.
You know why I asked that question? Because we all feel like we're invincible.
Yeah.
We all feel like we're never gonna die. And when I pray and I ask God, I say, God, whenever you ready, I'm ready. Because I'm making sure every day I wake up, I'm trying to do something that can get my brand, my name out there. So I'm making sure every day I'm posting a video, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm being consistent so people can remember, hey, this guy was about this. So it's something that we need to all as humans think about. Nobody want to think about that, but it's gonna come. Whether it's right now, next week, whether it's 50 years from now, what are you doing every day to get us to that place? All right, and then the last question is, where you see yourself 3 to 5 years from now, financially, and where you see yourself 3 to 5 years from now?
So 3 to 5 years from now, I definitely see me having more other businesses that I'm pretty much roll out between now and next year. So
okay.
I would say one of them will be definitely my Young CEO brand. Getting shirts, hoodies, jumpsuits, anything that's attractive to the market at the time. I would definitely want to roll that Young CEO merchandising brand out.
I love that.
I definitely got a few things I want to do with nonprofit organizations. Because I'm dealing with kids and help, because a lot of people don't realize that kids are our future.
Yes.
And just because they don't have the certain level of maturity that us as adults have, we still have to start training them. So I want to start like an after school program or a center to pretty much enrich our kids, not just on an educational and fundamental level, but even on an athletic level as well, to help our future athletes that entertain us, be great, and walk the path of, just being morally good people, Also, I used to actually work as a DSW worker, doing home health care.
Come on.
And, that's been one of my biggest dreams. And I just, I guess one of my biggest things is just being lazy and not willing to put in the amount of work to
to make it happen.
So I think like a button just clicked off in my head. I'm like, you know what, it's time to go ahead and try to get some licensing and find out, the steps to actually be able to create my own home health care here in the state of Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And outside of just doing, other new business ventures, I just want to keep growing my real estate, get into like some construction.
Come on.
Start building homes, so people can either lease for me or, Airbnb for short-term rentals. And also, one of my biggest goals is to finally hit, not only expand on a 4-figure level, but also like, expand to like a 5- and 6-figure level with clientele base with my current business as well. So,
yes.
I'm just trying to keep on building generational wealth, keep on getting richer, and stay humble at the same time.
Listen, is it anything else you want to leave them? That's it?
I tell people, never be afraid, never give up, and, come holler at Young CEO. I'm here.
Hey, remember, thank you guys for watching this video. Remember, life without purpose has no meaning. Go out and design the life you want, create the brand you deserve, and leave your legacy for years to come. We'll see you guys in the next podcast.